You and I were talking about something that we, heard in the industry. We talked to a potential client and they were like, our ads company doesn't let us see any of the data. Like they can log in, but like they don't report. They're like, you're not allowed in. And I'm like, what? How? How?
Like that was a major red flag because I think that borders on poor ethics, that maybe 25 to 30% of really bigger marketing agencies, ads agencies would create an ad account for their client. And then they would add the client's pages to it and whatever, but the client did not have access to the pixel, to the ad account, to any of the data. So they had to rely on the reporting, but of course the client was paying for that. So I feel like that borders on the ethics of, yeah, exactly. And I feel like that borders on like poor ethics from a marketing agency side because the client is paying for that information. Clients should be held with an open hand. I want what's best for them. And so if what's best for them is to hire someone else in-house, that should be acceptable. And if they're only hiring me for 90 days to get data from a different perspective, that's completely acceptable. Just in general, a good business practice is to put yourself in your client's shoes. And when you are spending tens of thousands of dollars on behalf of a client, I think a much higher level of accountability is appropriate for that situation.
Well, I think another thing, and this is maybe a good segue into like a different piece of what we're talking about and kind of our mindset. Other people might say they do this. I always try to put myself in the shoes of my client, but also I try to become a team member. Like, yes, we're contractors, right? You're hiring us. Like there's these logistical terms, but we are now a member of the team. And yes, we're a member of multiple other teams, right? Helping people build their businesses. Interesting because I had a little quick story that kind of leads into this, and then you might have some feedback on this part of it, because I think what you're doing, like you said, there has to be a lot of trust. And, then it's like, okay, I'm a part of your team because I'm not just to get a check every month. We're in this. We want you to do awesome. Less than a year ago, she fired me. Basically, she just said, we're not working together anymore. I met her like, 10 or 11 years ago. She had a business. At the time, she wanted to start another business. And she says, when I get this other business started, I will hire you. Well, she was one that was on my email list for 8 years before she hired me. So there's value in email, people, just like what Lindsey said. She was on my email list for 8 years. She hired me. She started her culinary business. That's what she was in the horse industry and she wanted to start a bakery. She did. I helped her market her bakery for, 4 or 5 years. And then she's like, I want to take this bakery offline. I want to just do culinary classes. Like I'm getting older. I want to retire and I want to enjoy my life. She's like, Jamie, when we get this up and running to a point where I can basically quit the physical location, I'm going to fire you because you will help me achieve my goal. I joke all the time. And I think I might've done a video a little while back. Like I just got fired and it was the best thing ever. It was years ago. So I didn't know Lindsey, but she had an ads agency that was helping her with ads. I was doing email and social media. And together we both all worked on her team to work her right out of the businesses she didn't want into the business she did. I think there's something to be said for the team member and the trust factor as it relates to ads and all the other pieces of marketing too. But ads is so personal. We have worked with many businesses now together where some people just want to be like, you're my marketing manager, or you're my ads manager. Like, I like you, you're cool, but like, we're going to hold you at arm's length. Other clients have become like family. That's just how we work. Lindsey and I, that's how we feel about our clients. Now, if you don't want us to tell you we love you, we won't. We can just do business, but that's kind of
just know that we do. Yeah.
I don't know if you have anything to add from that team member or trust perspective that you want to
No, yeah, I totally agree. And I think that's a beautiful example too, is that at some point, part of our goal is to either scale you to the point where you can make a big exit like that, like she was able to make a big exit and fulfill her dreams from start to finish. And then sometimes we're just getting you through a season to where our services can help you afford to build out, an in-house marketing team. And I think that happens a lot in agencies, is that we get them to the point where they understand enough about their customer, they understand what works, they understand what happens, in the ad account, and then they're able to go to the next level.
So Lindsey, I do have another question, because this is a strategy that it seems so incredibly simple, but many people are not doing it. I have a lot of people that come to me that are not utilizing email, or they like really, really want to do it, but they don't know how to grow their list because social media can be a crazy place. I always, Lindsey, you and I have talked like, why do we want to grow an email list? list, we want to do it because the email list is ours. And if the whole world exploded tomorrow, we still have our email list, right? If social media goes down for a day or Instagram goes down, we have many, many different ways, but email is a very great way to ensure we have constant communication with our client. For those customers that I've talked to, I'm like, you need to grow your business, and here's a great way to do it. A giveaway is always good, right? I have another YouTube video on that. But what is another way using ads, and what are the benefits to running an ad to build your email list?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think sometimes people get a little tunnel visioned on making sales with Facebook. Recently, I've been talking to a lot of business owners where actually lead generation makes the most sense as their sole purpose with Facebook ads. And like you're saying, like all of these platforms, not only could they go down at any point, and we're not just talking about Facebook and Instagram and Google. What if you're a maker or creator and you're on Etsy or Amazon, and you don't own any, like with Etsy, purchasers have to opt into your email list. You think they're going to do that? Probably not. And Amazon, you have absolutely zero customer data. There's some crazy statistic. It's over 50%, especially for retail businesses, of your customers are going to be repeat customers. Growing your email list is crucial, not just for being able to resell to your customers and to be able to have that stability as a business, which in and of itself is massive. A lot of people are taking longer to buy, and email lists are really a great nurturing tool. In my opinion, they're the best nurturing tool. They're better than social media. It's better than ads. It's better than a lot of stuff. And it's very versatile. So you can send, your people to a YouTube video to get to know you better. You can send resources via email. You can tell stories. You can contact people directly through your email list. But here are a few ways you can use ads to grow your email list. First, this is a tool we used to use early on, was giveaway ads. I'll say this with caveat here. So giveaway ads are really great when they really align with what you sell. So for example, if you are selling a really high ticket, like retail product, like I'm talking about a few $100s, probably don't want to do a giveaway, because these are probably people who never ever could afford it, who are trying to get on your list. Unless you have a really killer follow-up sequence, they're probably never going to buy, or at least not in the near future, right? So I wouldn't do it for that, but I would do it for things that are products that are very spontaneous and like easy to buy, like things that are fun and that you would just impulse buy. Like I just talked to a business owner who makes like these really cute custom, or these different limited edition socks, really great products. But like, why would I not buy a new pair of socks every 60 days? You know what I mean? Why would I not buy a pair of socks for a friend or whatever? It's not like I'm just entering the giveaway to just get those socks. I just might really like the brand. But another way to grow your email list is for lead generation. I do this all the time to get someone on the call or get someone on the phone. So say you offer like a really valuable service, you need to conduct a sales call. So Facebook ads are really great for generating leads for that. So if you're an info product, or like if you have like a course or a membership or something, it's a very, very common practice to do an opt-in, and it's getting harder and harder to do that on actual platforms. So it's getting harder to do it on Facebook and Instagram, like by like using your organic content. It's getting harder, but with ads, you can, again, get really quick feedback, opt-ins that are working. And here's the thing about ads with opt-ins. If you have like 5 different ideas for an opt-in, you can just create them all really quickly. And then maybe one is just going to knock it out of the park. Like maybe you're getting leads for like 80 cents, which is happening for one of my clients right now. She's getting leads for 80 cents. Whereas like the average range for an opt-in is like about $5. My favorite current way to get people on your list with your email list with ads is to treat your ads as a lead generation, even if you're selling to them. So if you have a product that costs you $20 to make, it retails for $50, $20 to acquire the customer, you're making $10 profit. So you might think that's not that great, right? Or maybe I'm making $5 profit. Even if you're breaking even, the point is to get them on your list, because they're going to buy from you again and again and again. And not only that, but they're paying you to increase your brand visibility. So not only are you building up your email list, but then all of a sudden thousands and thousands and thousands of people are building up or are seeing your ads on Facebook, and they're getting familiar with the brand, and they are eventually going to become customers. There's just so much versatility with Facebook ads for email list building. And like I kind of touched on before, there's a point in businesses where your email list should always be your main focal point. point. So even if you can't afford to run ads yet, you should always give people the opportunity to opt into your email list because it's the only thing you really own outside of your website.
What is the one thing once you do get a list, explain a lookalike audience for running ads?
Once you have 1,000 people on your list, you can start using your list to generate a lookalike audience. So that's basically where Facebook knows all. So you give Facebook, your customers' emails, they can identify their Facebook account. And from their Facebook account and from the aggregation of all of those 1,000 emails or more, the more the better, it can say, okay, these are all of like the similarities in behaviors. Facebook, we have targeting options on Facebook where we can tell Facebook, okay, target someone who's interested in this, target someone who's this age, target someone who lives in this area. But there are so many audience signals and behaviors that Facebook is tracking, that's creepy tracking stuff, we don't have access to. That's all the algorithm. And so a lookalike audience is basically saying, okay, you can test different settings and optimizations on your lookalike. Basically, a 1% lookalike audience is like, okay, stay really tight to the audience behaviors, what most of these guys have in common. And a 2% is like, okay, mostly what these guys have in common, but you can branch out to what some other like portions of this list have in common. And so you can go broader and broader, but you can also go really broad and then also tell Facebook, hey, do a broad lookalike audience, but then also make sure it only targets people who are interested in this. It's going to take all of these audience behaviors, but then refine it to only the people who are interested also in this other thing. It's actually a really powerful tool and it kind of snowballs. So then now you have more accurate data. Like I was talking about my e-commerce client, their best client is, or their best audience right now is a lookalike audience, which is unique to every account, every client. It's always a good tool to have in your tool belt. And you don't have to just use it on Meta. You can use a lookalike audience on Google. It's kind of endless.
Like that's another reason to want to grow your list. Obviously there's a million reasons, but I will say this too. If you're watching this and you're like, I don't really know if Facebook ads work, I just challenge you. If you put your phone anywhere near you and pick some of the most random thing ever, like I need to buy a rectangular trampoline for my 10-year-old boy. I bet you it's safe to say in the next 5 minutes or 5 days, I'm going to get fed ads for trampolines or kids' playground. Don't get me started about how we're being listened to all the time. That's for another podcast altogether, somewhere else on someone else's podcast. Facebook and Google and everything, like they know what we want. And I don't know how many times I tell Lindsay, like, I just bought something from a Facebook ad. It popped up and it spoke to me because I was just talking about trampolines, or I was just talking about a new water bottle or a new microphone. Ads, we know the ads work. We just wanted to cover some things that would be very helpful and practical. If you are interested, we're going to drop some things down below to get a hold of Lindsay and her contact information. Obviously she does free discovery calls. As she mentioned, she has audits and other things she offers too. So if you feel like you watch this and you're like, okay, I feel like I get ads. Like maybe they're still a little scary, but like if I'm going to run with them, I'm going to do it with Lindsay. So, Lindsay, thank you for being on today.
Thanks so much for having me.
And I know you and I will continue to chase after our passion like it's the last bus of the night. And we're really glad you guys watched today.